to your enrollment meeting for your benefits for the upcoming year. These benefits are going to be starting November 1st of this year through October 31st of the next year. So here's a page kind of going over eligible dependents. You might have eligible dependents under your plan, including dependent children. For medical and gap, this could be something like until your dependent children turn age 26, or in some cases in the state of Florida up until age 30th. And for dental and vision, up until the end of the month when they turn age 26. Other dependents could be your legal spouse, your domestic partner, as well as any natural adopted children or stepchildren as well. And normally, during these plans, and once you make the elections for these plans, they are set in place for the entire year. But there could be some qualifying life events where you would have a small window to be able to make some changes to your elections. So some of these qualifying life events could be things like marriage, divorce, if you have a new baby and you want to add them to your coverage, if you have a spouse that has a loss or gain of coverage or signs up for Medicare. These are all things that could qualify you to change your choices. So if one of these things happen, you have a 30-day window to let your HR representative know. So be sure to review these qualifying life events here to know if something happens throughout the year, you know when to notify HR. We also have the same system to enroll all of your benefits through Employee Navigator. So if you're a returning user, you have the instructions there. You may have forgotten your password and you need to sign up with a new password. Very easy. There's a video going over all the steps there. And as well, if you are creating a new user, you need to use the company identifier that's bolded here in red. Very important to know that company identifier is case sensitive. So be sure that it's exactly the same when you enter it into the system in order to create your account. Also, I wanted to mention when you're making these when you're enrolling in your benefits, the window to enroll in everything started yesterday and you have until the 23rd of this month. So once the 23rd passes, you no longer have access to the system and you won't be able to choose your benefits. Even if you are not interested in any of these benefits and you don't want to sign up for them, you still have to go into the system and say that you don't want them. It's going to ask you a quick question as to why you may not be interested, but very important to go into the system whether you want to enroll in any of these benefits or not. So this is just some general terms to know that would help you kind of understand some things about your medical plans. Not all of us are very well versed in all of the information that has to do with medical insurance. So we wanted to include a couple of these definitions here of some words that you're going to hear throughout the presentation, or you're probably going to see throughout the year. So one of the most important parts of this whole presentation, we're going to start going over the medical benefits. There's going to be 3 medical plans available to you. They're the same plans as last year. This page goes over the PPO options, and then you're going to have an HMO option in the next slide. These options are available for any employee throughout the entire country, so this is not just limited to Florida residents. If you live in any state, these are plans that are available to you. They're also PPO. I'm sorry, was someone asking a question? Okay. Anybody who doesn't have their mics muted, be sure to keep them muted. We'd be happy to answer any questions a little further down the line. All right, so going back to these plans, these are the PPO options. So with these PPO plans, you have network availability all over the country, as well as in-network and out-of-network benefits. With option 1, you have Blue Options 5908. You're going to have a calendar year deductible of $5,000 and a family deductible of $10,000. The coinsurance with this plan, once you meet your deductible, is going to be 80%. So the insurance company is going to cover 80% of the cost of certain services, and you will be responsible for 20%. There's an out-of-year pocket max of $8,200 and a family maximum of $6,400. So that is the most that you will ever pay with this medical plan. Once you meet that out-of-pocket maximum, the insurance plan starts covering you at 100%. With this first plan, you also have a primary care physician's visit of $30 and a specialist visit of $60. Very important with this plan and with all of your plans, mental health care visits are going to be $0, as well as virtual care is going to be $0 as well. With both of these plans, you do not have to select a primary care physician, so you can see anyone you want, as well as if you need to see a specialist for any reason whatsoever, you do not need to get a referral from your primary doctor. You could just go choose whatever specialist you would like. And going under this category, urgent care down to complex diagnostics, you're going to see a little star next to each cost. That little star means that this cost can also be covered by gap insurance, which we're going to talk about a little later in the presentation. But anything under these categories can tend to have a little bit of a higher cost. So the gap insurance is there and available to you to choose to help offset some of these costs. Also, really important with any Florida Blue plan, your diagnostic labs will be at $0 as long as you get your labs done through Quest Diagnostics. Quest Diagnostics are available in a lot of different places, so they're very accessible, but make sure that whenever you're getting any labs done, that Quest is the place that you're going to go to. You also have a second medical PPO plan available to you. So that's going to be Blue Options 5302. You have an individual calendar year deductible of $5,000 and a family deductible of $10,000 as well. The coinsurance with this plan is going to be 70%, 30%. So the insurance plan is going to cover 70% of the cost after you meet your deductible. You also have an out-of-pocket maximum with this plan at $6,350 and a family maximum of $12,700. You probably notice here that preventative care is covered at 100% with both plans. By law, all preventative care needs to be covered at 100% through your healthcare provider. So very, very important, get your preventative care done, get your checkups done. It's covered at 100%, it's free. So that is always available to you. You also have your primary care physician's visit under this plan at $30. Specialist visits are going to be $55. Once again, mental health care and virtual visits are at $0. Also with this plan, because it is a PPO, you do not have to select a primary care physician and you do not need a referral to go see a specialist. Also with this plan, starting at urgent care and below, you see the little asterisks, the little stars next to it. So once again, all of these categories can be covered by the gap insurance. And also once you get to urgent care, it's going to be $60. Any emergency room care is going to be $300. Inpatient care at a hospital is going to be that 30% coinsurance after you meet your deductible, and same for outpatient surgery and physician's fees. Once again, diagnostic labs only through Quest Diagnostics are going to be at $0. So if we go down to prescription drugs in your option 1, you have a copay schedule for most of these costs. So the tier 1 is going to be $10 generics. For tier 2, it's going to be 20% of coinsurance up to $200 at retail. Tier 3 is not covered under this plan, but if you go over to option 2, it's going to be a similar cost sharing structure here. Tier 1 is going to be at $10, tier 2 is $60, and tier 3 you have at $100 here. You also have specialty drugs covered under both of these insurance plans. Option 1 is applicable to cost share, and at option 2, it's going to be 20% coinsurance. You also have out-of-network benefits with both of these plans. We always recommend to stay within the network. It's going to be a lot more cost-effective. Doctors and providers outside of the network do not have contracted rates with the insurance, so you do not have expected costs. And although you do have coverage, it is going to be more expensive. Does anybody have any questions on the PPO plans? All right. So we also have this other plan available for Florida residents only. So this plan is only going to have coverage within Florida. And you also do not have out-of-coverage benefits, out-of-network coverage with this plan. This is probably going to be a bit more of a cost-effective plan for Florida residents who want a lower month-to-month premium. If you need to check if your preferred provider is within your network, both of the medical plan slides have how to find a provider, and it's going to give you some instructions there to make sure that whoever you're seeing is within your network. Always good to double check before you receive medical care. With this plan, you have a calendar year deductible for individuals at $5,000 and a family deductible of $10,000. The coinsurance with this plan is going to be 80%. There is also an out-of-pocket max for individuals at $7,900 and a family out-of-pocket max of $15,800. So with this plan, you also have preventative care covered at 100%. Your primary care physician's visits are going to be $10. Specialist visits are going to be $100. Mental health care and virtual care are also $0. With this plan, you do not need to select a PCP and you do not need a referral to see a specialist. Once again, urgent care and below has that little star next to it, so it's going to be applicable for additional coverage with the GAP plan. So urgent care is going to be $75. Emergency rooms are going to be $250 copays plus deductible or coinsurance. Inpatient care, it's going to be 20% coinsurance after deductible, as well as outpatient surgery, physician's fees, diagnostic x-rays, and complex diagnostic imaging. Once again, with this plan, Quest Diagnostics is the place to go for any diagnostic labs. Prescription drugs are going to be on a mostly copay schedule. Tier 1 is going to be $10, Tier 2 is going to be $60, and Tier 3 is going to be at $100. For any specialty drugs, it's going to be 20% coinsurance, and you also have the availability for mail order pharmacy, so you can order a 90-day supply for things like usually maintenance medications. So if you have a blood pressure medication, if you need birth control, things like that, you can get them at a 2.5 times retail copay. Once again, this plan does not have out-of-network benefits, so make sure whenever you are seeing a provider that they are contracted within the network. So here we have the gap insurance. For anyone not familiar with gap insurance, it is a supplemental health plan that helps offset the cost that medical insurance can have. So here we have 3 different plan options available. With the first plan, you do have a deductible that you need to meet before the gap insurance starts to cover those costs. The deductible with this first plan is going to be $1,600, but if you were to have this plan, your deductible would lower to that $1,600. These buckets of money here would help offset that cost there. So any of these gap plans are really great choices. Just keep in mind, if you do choose option 1, you have to meet that deductible before they start helping you with the costs. For the other options, there's no deductible that you need to meet. They can start helping you right away. So it really depends on what flexibility you would like available with your gap plan. Each of these plans has the same categories of money that you can pull from. There's inpatient hospital benefits, which is basically anything that has to do with a hospital stay. If you have to stay at the hospital, if you have inpatient procedures, any inpatient physician's charges, or inpatient mental health treatments, all of anything that falls into that category, you can receive assistance with. So at any time of service, you make sure that you have your GAP card as well as your insurance card, and they can file the claim for you. There's a little page a little farther ahead, just in case they say that they do not accept the GAP card, some extra instructions on how you could potentially file the claim yourself. And if you have any issues, Laura is also on this call, and her contact is at the end of this presentation, and she can help you with that as well. You also have your outpatient hospital benefits. So these are things like radiation therapy, chemotherapy, any outpatient surgery or x-rays, MRI, CT scans, or treatment for an injury due to an accident where you don't have to stay at the hospital. You also have that money available to you with all of these options. You also have additional benefits with these plans. So things like infusion therapy, durable medical equipment, if you need a wheelchair or crutches, things like that, or laboratory tests performed on an outpatient basis. You also have a physical and chiropractic therapy rider of $1,000 per covered person up to 3 times per family. So let's say if you get in an accident and you need to start seeing a chiropractor. This $1,000 can help with the cost of that, so you don't have to pay the copay of a specialist visit. Also with these plans, you have an ambulance visit of up to $2,000. Very important to keep in mind, insurance does not cover ambulance rides. So if for whatever reason you end up having to take an ambulance to the hospital, this would help offset the cost of that ambulance ride. So we also have Sanitas Medical Center available to Florida residents only. So it's kind of a one-stop shop of a lot of medical services that you would potentially need to receive. It's a really great service to have available. There's a lot of them throughout Florida. Really important, you can get $0 primary care visits. You can also get $0 urgent care visits. You don't always have to set up an appointment if you need to go. They do take in walk-in appointments. But if you need to go on the weekend, they do have appointments on the weekend. So there's a lot of flexibility and availability of when you can go to these centers. Some of the things that you can get checked out, you can get your annual health exam, you can get different health screenings, you can also get your labs and diagnostics done. So it's a really great additional thing available to Florida residents under Florida Blue. And this slide kind of goes over different locations that you have available to you and the different services that they provide. Also, this slide goes over the importance of having that Florida Blue app, as well as some instructions on how to sign up for your member portal on your phone as well as on your computer. Really great to have this account available to you if you want to check any explanation of benefits, if you need to check the status of any claims, if you want to find out if you have a provider nearby, or if you want to check if your doctor is in network. Anything having to do with your medical plans is available in the Florida Blue app. Also, any additional services or any extra perks that you have with Florida Blue, all that information is available on your phone. So everybody's on their phone all the time anyways. It's really good to just have that there. If you need anything right on the spot, just open your phone and it's right there available to you. You also have virtual visits with Teladoc through Florida Blue. So virtual visits are very convenient, very handy, very popular. You can do it pretty much anywhere. So if you're on a trip and you need to call a doctor to get something checked out really quickly, it's available to you. It's open 24 hours a day. So it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. If you need any kind of medical assistance over the phone, it is available to you. You can get urgent care treatment. As long as it's something that can be treated virtually over the phone, you can get urgent care services through Teladoc, and you don't have to make an appointment. So if one day you're at home, you're not feeling too good, you want to get some assistance with something, but you don't want to have to wait in the waiting room, or you don't want to have to make an appointment, you don't want to have to drive anywhere, this is something that's really great to have available to you. As well, if you need any prescriptions or any medication, they can prescribe it straight from the app and send it to your local pharmacy. So for anyone who needs to find an out-of-state provider, if you're a Florida resident and you have the PPO plan and you want to find a doctor out of state, this is just a page going over some extra instructions on how to find out-of-state providers. So if you need to do that at any point throughout the year, feel free to review this slide just to give you some extra instructions on how to do that. There's also the Better Use Strides program available with Florida Blue. So this is a really great program offered to help members improve their health and well-being through personalized activities as well as different health challenges. So this program typically includes things like health assessments, goal setting, and additional educational resources. And these resources are tailored to the individual. So Better Use Strides really helps you go on that individualized health journey. And also by participating in Better Use Strides, you can get cash rewards for achieving certain steps. So this slide just kind of goes over how you can sign up for Better Use Strides. Highly, highly recommend. It's not only great to take care of your health, but it's also great to both save money and to earn money. Just some more information on signing up there. So this is a slide that I referenced a little while ago when we were on the gap slide. If for any reason whatsoever you go to a provider and you say, I have my gap insurance card here, they say we don't accept it, you can file a claim through the Transamerica website here. Also really important to know about gap coverage. If your medical insurance plan does not cover a certain service, then the gap insurance plan will not cover it. So if you want to get plastic surgery and your health insurance doesn't cover it, the gap insurance isn't going to cover it as well. So very important to keep in mind when you're utilizing these services. So we want to emphasize the importance of preventative care. Very important to get all your checkups done, to go to your annuals, to make sure that everything is good with your health. Not only is it better for your health to catch things early on, it's a lot more cost effective. It's easier to treat things when they're smaller issues versus if you don't get anything checked out and you find things much later on and it becomes something really serious. And if you're curious to maybe what services you should be getting done or what you should maybe be keeping in mind, what conversations should you be having with your doctors, there's a website here on this slide called health.gov My Health Finder. You put in your gender and your age, and it tells you what services you are potentially applicable for or things that you should be getting checked out based off of your age and gender. So a really good resource to have if you look at it and there's something that maybe you haven't gotten checked out, maybe you haven't gotten done, it would potentially be good to bring it up with your doctor, and it'll open a dialogue about your health and, be informed, stay on top of it. It's really beneficial for you. Also, a really important slide, we have healthcare consumerism here. The landscape of health insurance can be really confusing and it can be a little daunting, and it's intimidating to have to navigate all of this ourselves, but it's our responsibility as consumers to utilize the resources that we have available to become as best educated as we can. So this slide goes over just how you would potentially choose the right type of care based on what you're feeling. So we have virtual visits here, primary care physicians, and retail clinics. These things are going to be much lower in cost for smaller issues. Once you go up in the chart and the colors get a little scarier, we have urgent care and the ER. For more serious issues, they're going to have bigger dollar signs. So it's very important to make sure that you're going to the right place to get the right kind of care. And also, it's really important to know about what discount programs are available. How can you save money on different things? There are things like GoodRx that are completely separate from your medical plan, where you can look up your prescription medications and pull up coupons. I've used it a lot in my life. It's very handy. They have another application on your phone that you can use where all you have to do is look up the name of whatever drug you're purchasing, and it'll tell you if there's a coupon available. So there's a lot of these things available to you as consumers. So I highly recommend not only going over all the information in this slide, but going over all the additional information that is available through your health insurance providers. So we also have a dental plan available to you. This is a dental PPO available through Guardian. With a dental PPO, you're going to have in and out of network benefits. But just like I said with the medical plans, it's always more cost effective to stay within the network. With this plan, you have an individual deductible of $50 up to $150 per family. You also have an annual plan maximum of $5,000. So once you reach that $5,000 limit under this plan, the plan will no longer cover you. So very important to keep in mind when you are maybe paying for in and out of network services. It's good to be a little strategic, to be a smart healthcare consumer. Also, all of the services are going to be covered through a percentage. So depending on how much a service costs, they will cover a certain percentage based off of what category it falls into. Also really important, your cleanings are going to be once every 6 months. So very important to go get your cleanings done, get everything checked out. If you catch something early on, it's not going to become a bigger issue down the line, and it's not going to become a very expensive issue down the line. Also, if you would like to receive any orthodontic services, it is not covered under this plan, so important to keep in mind. Also, with this plan, you have the Oral Health Rewards Program. The way that this works is I kind of like to think of it like a data rollover plan for your phone. If you don't use all of it, you're able to roll over to the next plan year. So if you stay under a $1,000, under $1,000 of your maximum, you're able to roll over a certain dollar amount into the next year. So the maximum that you can roll over is $500, and the maximum rollover limit is $1,500. So your annual plan maximum is going to be $5,000. With this rollover plan, you can bring it up to $6,500. So maybe some years you don't really have to get a lot of work done. You kind of just do your cleanings and everything is good to go. And you start rolling over these maximum dollars. And one year you have to do a lot of major services. One year you have to get a crown, or if you have to get a root canal or things like that, it's going to have a much higher cost. So having that annual plan maximum a little bit higher gives you a little more wiggle room in order to use your plan. Also, if you need to make sure that your provider, your preferred dentist is within the network, just like any of these other plans, there's instructions right on the side here to go on the website and showing you how to find a provider. You also have vision benefits available. So this is really great for anybody who has contacts, has glasses, maybe wants to have a cheaper annual eye exam. Very important, once again, get your preventative care, get your checkups done. Very easy to find things early on, even just through a regular eye exam. So you have in and out of network benefits available. If you stay within the network, it's going to be a copay and allowance system. Out of the network, it's going to be a reimbursement system. So your eye exams within the network are going to be only $10. And if you need to get frames for eyeglasses, it's going to be a $130 allowance with 20% off any additional balance. So if you decide that you want to get designer glasses frames and they're $400, well, you're going to get the $130 allowance, but then you will get 20% off any additional balance that's left. For any lenses you're going to need for your glasses, it's going to be $25 across the board. If you need to get contact lenses that are elective, it's going to be a $130 allowance with 15% off of the additional balance, and medically necessary, it's going to be $0. The frequency of these services for exams, eyeglasses, or contacts is going to be once every 12 months, and for any frames, it's going to be once every 24 months. You also have additional discounts available with this plan for any additional pairs of eyeglasses or prescription sunglasses, as well as if you're interested in getting LASIK laser vision. All right. Also, there are 2 life plans available to you. Very important to have. You never want to think that an accident or that something terrible is going to happen, but it's really good to stay prepared for it. God forbid, for any reason you pass away, you want to make sure that your family and your loved ones are taken care of financially. Really great benefit that you have. There is employer paid life, so you do not have to pay for this at all. This is completely free to you. All eligible employees get a life and accidental death and dismemberment policy for $25,000. Very important, even though you don't have to pay for this, you do have to make sure that your beneficiaries are updated. Maybe 1 year to the next, you decide that you may want your beneficiary to be a different person. Really important to make sure that that is updated in Employee Navigator. That is not something that can change after the money is distributed. If you want to get any additional life coverage, there is voluntary life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance available for purchase. For employee life, you can get $10,000 increments up to a $300,000 maximum. For spouses, you can get $5,000 increments up to $150,000. For children, it's going to be $10,000, and the AD&D policy is the same as life. The guaranteed issue for employees is going to be $50,000. Spouses are going to be $25,000, and children are $10,000. This policy is also portable, so if for any reason you leave this current company, you are able to take this policy with you. And once again, make sure that you choose the correct beneficiaries, review that Employee Navigator. Very, very important. You can change it at any time. So make sure when you go into Employee Navigator that this is something that you are reviewing closely. Also, you have voluntary disability insurance available to you. This is kind of like an insurance for your paycheck. If for any reason whatsoever you are not able to work for any period of time, the expenses don't stop. Life continues, bills continue, and even if you're not able to work. So you have the ability to sign up for short-term disability and also long-term disability. Short-term is going to have a maximum salary benefit of 60% up to $1,000 weekly, and this could cover accident or illness. Benefits would begin on the 8th day, and the duration of benefits are going to be 12 weeks. For long-term disability, the benefit is going to be 60% of up to $6,000 monthly. The definition of disability in this case is also going to be accident or illness. Benefits begin on the 91st day and on the 91st day, and the duration of benefits is going to be up to Social Security normal retirement age. Also through Garden, you have the Employee Assistance Program. So you've probably heard on the news and daily conversation and things like that, the importance of focusing on our mental health, having these conversations, getting the help that we need. This is a really great program available to you, 24/7 service. If you need assistance with anything, if you're having issues with your family, if you are having issues with your children, or if you have a parent that you're taking care of, if you have any legal or financial issues, anything that could potentially fall under this, or if you're having any stress in your life, or even if you just need to talk to anyone, this is a great service. It's completely confidential and it's available 24 hours, 7 days a week. So very, very good to have. Please use it. If there's anything that you potentially need, this is available to you. And if you need additional services, they can help refer you to whoever may need to help you further. Also, you have Will Prep. This is available to any voluntary life and AD&D participants. This is just some additional assistance with getting a will. If you don't even know where to start with your will, this is a really great service available to you. Once again, these are things that we don't really want to think about. We don't want to think that we're going to leave our loved ones behind, but we want to have our finances in order. We want to make sure that whatever we have is going to go to the right people after we pass. This is also a really important page of how much everything is going to cost. So this is split into several categories. If you choose these benefits for the employee only, or if you choose it for yourself and your spouse, you and your children, or you and your entire family, this kind of breaks it down in an easy chart. This is also going to be available on Employee Navigator. And also for voluntary life and the disability plans, these costs depend on your age. So that's going to be available for viewing in Employee Navigator once you sign up for each of these benefits. We also understand that this is a lot of information. This can be very intimidating, very confusing throughout the year. So we have this contact page available to you with some important contacts in case you have any questions, any concerns, or any issues down the line. You have Christina, your human resources contact here, and you also have your dedicated Brown and Brown team. You have Laura, who's on the call with us today. She's your account executive, and she's kind of the go-to person for anything that you potentially need throughout the year. We also have Jennifer. She's the Vice President of Employee Benefits. You can also contact her for any issues that you may have. And if for any reason you want to reach out to the carriers directly, go on their websites, ask them any questions, all of that is available to you here. Also, one last really great benefit that you guys have, you have Benefit Hub. It's completely free to everyone. Even if you don't sign up for any of these benefits, you can go on Benefit Hub. It's kind of a marketplace of discounts and things available to you. If you want to get discounted Disney tickets, Universal tickets, if you need to rent a car, you can even get discounts on hotels, things like that. Basically, anything that you might potentially need could possibly be found on Benefit Hub. I've used it before. It's really great. All you have to do is click on that link there, sign up for an account, very easy. So yeah, thank you to everyone. I'm going to stop recording now, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Oh, well,